back to my channel. My name is Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Asparagus is Reading. My name is Aspasia, and this is where we talk about books. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all the DC and Marvel related books because I recently noticed I have quite a collection. Was definitely not intentional. I just saw these books and was interested and I got them. I did film this video earlier today. It ended up being about 35 minutes long because I talked a lot. But when I went to edit it about 10 minutes ago, I realized that I had my camera angle too high. And so when I was holding up the books, you only see like this portion. So we're going to try and refilm it and give as much detail as I did earlier. Okay, so as I was saying, this video is going to be about all the DC and Marvel related books. I do have a few novels and encyclopedias and graphic novels related to Marvel and DC because I did notice that past years or so these companies have been slowly making more retellings and making graphic novels, basically putting their stories out there, making it more accessible in all different age groups to read about. The popularity and the success of the recent Marvel movies and some of the DC movies and other like superhero-ish stuff, they wanted to push out more products knowing that people are enjoying this and they want more of this, which I think is great because I'm not a big fan of like the typical comic style. I would like more to it, so that's why I like prefer graphic novels and actual books because I feel like I get more out of it than like the little 30 pages, because a lot of times when it is a comic, like a fourth of the comic is actually the comic and the other fourth is a bunch of other random crap you don't really care about. And I'm actually really excited that this is happening because I'm a pretty big Marvel and DC fan myself. It is something that I grew up on. My uncles grew up on it. They used to go to comic stores all the time and get the books when they came out. They used to binge read them. They would follow everything. They would read all the Wikipedia. They would go online. They watch all the movies, all the different TV shows, like all kind of stuff like that. Then my mom is a very big Disney fan. She just watched all the movies, read all the books, all kinds of stuff. So when the two of them got married and they all met, it kind of like passed down to us. And I believe out of the 4 kids, I'm the one that like enjoys it the most. As you can see, I do have a lot of Funko Pops that are DC Marvel related. I do have things around my room DC Marvel related. For example, I have this big like puzzle thing that's Funko Pop related, but it's like it's a bunch of DC superheroes and villains that are Funko Pop form, but on a puzzle, and we framed it. Alright, so enough with the rambling. We're just gonna get into the books. I do have 3 categories, well maybe like 4, no. I have 2 categories of books with like mini categories in it. So I have the graphic novel / comics categories with graphic novels in it and catalog graphic novels in it. And then I have regular books with books and encyclopedia, which kind of fits with catalog, but it's not a graphic novel. So I do have, I believe, 1 or 2 more DC Marvel related books in the house. It's just not with me. I know my brother has one. I didn't want to go get it from him because he's reading it, and I don't know where the other one is. I'm assuming that's with my brother or my dad has it. Who knows? So I'm just going to talk about these, and hopefully that should be good. So we're going to talk about the graphic novels first because those are the ones that I read the most of. So the first ones, well, the first 2 actually are part of a series. And they are part of the DC Inc. series. I believe the DC Inc. is where they're writing out more graphic novels, I think, for all different ages, and they're pulling in different authors, especially like middle grade and young adult, to write them. So, for example, these books, not exactly a series, but they are related. So I'm not really sure what you call that. It's similar to another series that I'm going to show you guys later. And this is the Mira Tidebreaker book and the Catwoman book. There's also a Raven one, a Beast Boy, Harley Quinn, I believe there's Poison Ivy, and there's another Black Canary. They do have a Black Canary one. I've only read these 2 in Raven so far, and I have enjoyed them. One of my favorite things about it is how they solely focus on the like one color, because that one color represents that character very well, and also I feel like it makes you focus more on the characters, the emotions, what's going on, and the words instead of like the the colors and the pictures. Even though it is a graphic novel, so the pictures are pretty important, I just felt like normally if it has a lot of color, I tend to look into all the different colors more than actually paying attention to the story. I did really like these because they did a bit more darker storyline with these characters. A lot of times you hear like the nicer for general public people, and it's just a bit more, oh, wow, kind of thing. And I did really like how they portrayed both of these characters, because from my head, I didn't really know a lot about Mira, and what I knew about Catwoman had like missing bits and pieces. I didn't know the full story. So I feel like this gave you a pretty good detailed story of each character, so you can know them very well and understand who they are. So now the next graphic novels are going to be pretty separate. These I got at different times. One of them is belonging to a very different, it's still related to DC, but it's a different section that writes graphic novels, and this one is the DC Black label, Batman White Knight. I think DC Black label is a darker version of anything DC. So for DC Inc., it's graphic novels. I think it's only graphic novels, and they're a bit more for general. They're more colorful. They're a bit more fun. They're, you know, like they appeal to people. Where DC Black Inc., I think, is more than just graphic novels. It tends to be, well, darker, a bit more gory, a bit more violent, a bit more serious, and which a lot of times people don't like. They like the softer things because they just don't like the gore. Maybe they just can't stomach it. I like a mix of both. It really just depends on the story. But I was a bit confused with this one, to be honest. This one is about Batman being caught in something and people not really sure knowing what to believe. He was caught, I believe there's been a photograph of him that goes out. He was caught with drugs in his hand over Joker, and Joker is basically died. What people see is that Batman just killed this man. Like, when did you kill? Batman does not kill, at least from my memory, he does not kill. When he does kill, it's not the same Batman that we all know. So that makes sense. So now people are like, okay, what the heck is going on? Why would he do that? So now Joker's in the hospital, and he's, you know, getting better and whatnot, and he's not exactly Joker. He's more of like a normal human being, and people are kind of like, what in the world happened here? And it's a story of discovering what exactly happened between the two of them. It was very confusing because there's like 2-3 different Harleys running around, and I was kind of just like, I don't understand. And also, I'm not like very... I don't know a lot about mental health and like different things, and also about, you know, being like how people think and feel. So when it goes more into Joker's perspective and like how he's thinking and acting, I was kind of just like, I don't understand. Like, is this actually happening, or is this illusion? Is he like hallucinating? Who knows? So this next graphic novel is a bit more middle grade, but more fun. Not dark, very cutesy, funny. And that is Heroes of the Round Table, I think Rising, which is about a bunch of high school age heroes. You know, Miss Marvel, Spider-Gwen, Miss America, Captain Marvel, I believe there's a couple of males, Spider-Man, some other one else, who are in high school. Some of them, I believe, are getting ready to go to college, which they do talk about throughout this book. But also superheroes, so they kind of have a bit of a mix where part of it is like, oh, normal life, like, hey, what are you doing at home, or hey, what school are you applying to, while the other part of them is like, okay, we need to go save the world, we need to put this down, we gotta go do this. I think was pretty good. Okay, so now these last two, what I meant by like catalog graphic novels, they're not exactly novels, they're more talking about other things. To be more specific, this one does have a little bit of a comic in it, which is what I mean by comics, where it's short, and then like another portion of it talks about other things. The more catalog thing about what I'm talking about is that this one is a thicker size, like a graphic novel. However, it is 99%, if not 100%, full of suggestions and ideas and descriptions of other comics and graphic novels. So now the next books that I want to talk about are going to be more of the novels. They're thicker, have more words, much less pictures. In fact, I think only one of them has pictures. Well, no, they all have pictures, but not the same form, if that makes sense. First one is part of a series, but I only own the first one in that series, and that is Black Widow Forever Red by Margaret Stoll. This is supposed to be an origin story / retelling of Black Widow. Again, I don't know much about Black Widow. I don't think anyone really does unless they really follow the Marvel universe. I followed more DC characters and more Marvel plot. So when I saw that Margaret Stoll was writing this and Black Widow is being featured in more movies, I was like, okay, perfect timing. I'm gonna pick this up. Never did. It's still sitting unread on my shelf. I do believe this is the first out of 2, maybe 3. So hopefully within next year or 2 years, I could finally pick it up and read it. Especially now that there's going to be a movie coming out. I want to be caught up. Okay, on to the last few books. So the next 2 are part of a series, and they are called Batman Nightwalker and Wonder Woman Warbringer for the DC Icon series. Again, this is another series where the DC company is taking on a few young adult, new adult, middle-grade authors and having them write retellings and etc. about certain characters. For this one, they are talking about, well, icons. And those icons tend to be the most well-known or most popular characters. For example, Wonder Woman, Batman, Catwoman, and Superman. As far as I know, there's only the 4 of them. I have 3 out of the 4. The Superman is actually downstairs, and I do not own Catwoman yet. I just keep procrastinating on purchasing it. Alright, so in the Batman one, Bruce is on his way home. I think his 18th birthday or 19th birthday is coming up. He's about to inherit the entire Wayne fortune. And he just, I can't remember what exactly he did, but he ends up doing some community service, voluntary service at the, I believe, the Arkham Asylum. Yes. And around this time, attacks, terrorizing, etc. by the people they're called the Nightwalkers. It's in the title. And so, you know, Bruce being Bruce wants to investigate. But I think the only person that really knows information about them is this girl that is a murderer. Can't remember her name. And so he starts talking to her, asking her questions, trying to dig information out of her to figure out what is going on. Then the Wonder Woman Warbringer one is a similar but not, I believe, yes, okay. So this one, I just have to like refresh my memory, is about Diana, daughter of Hippolyta. Okay, I can't, you need to come off this tree at some point. Daughter of Hippolyta, she leaves the Mascara to fight off some of the evils that is going on in Earth, and there's a girl named Alaya, either Aliyah or Alaya. She's a direct descendant of Helen of Troy, which means a lot of destruction, Warbringers, all kinds of stuff happens, and I believe you're supposed to kill the Warbringers to help keep wars and problems starting around the world. So just for her name, Diana, yes, Aliyah or Alaya, however you pronounce her name, is not bad herself. It's just that she has these abilities that are, or like everywhere she falls, these things happen. So Diana and Aliyah and a couple other people team up to kind of help her out and see what they can do to keep from things happening. And that is the Essential Wonder Woman Encyclopedia, which is basically this big old book, bigger than my face, with the tiniest font. That is an encyclopedia for every single thing, person, event Wonder Woman is somehow associated to. So, in the comics. So if she had some kind of battle with Cheetah in 1976 on the island of blah 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 blah, it's in here. I think this is only up until a certain year because more things have probably been written after this. Okay, so that is all of the DC Marvel related books. If there's more on my shelf, scream at me, comment it. I think I got all of them, hopefully. And if you like anything DC Marvel related, let me know. What's your favorite book? What's your favorite character? What's your favorite movie, TV show, etc.? Comment down below.